Hey guys, this is just the last update on my PS4 Pro and the mods I've done to it. I found that the hottest part of this console and every other PS4 console, actually also the PS5 over there, which I also modded, is the RAM. Now, as you've maybe seen in previous videos, I added this air intake with a magnet and a Dempsey-Flex dust filter, so the fan could breathe a lot more easily. Later, I found out that the RAM on the backside are only covered by a super thin piece of steel, and on top of the RAM there's some black, very poor quality thermal pads. And I noticed that the RAM on the backside here would get so hot that they're able to melt the standard thermal pads the PS4 Pro comes with, which are the same as the original PS4. And so I tested it. I tried to, buy some small heat sinks from eBay with thermal glue on the backside. And I bought heat sinks with thermal glue rated to withstand up to 95 degrees Celsius. And even then, the RAM would get so hot that the thermal glue on the back of those heat sinks would melt, and the heat sink would drift away and fall off because the temperature ceiling was breached. And then I figured, wow, if they really get that hot, then the cooling for the memory on this thing is not nearly enough. And then I decided to buy some thermal glue, which is rated at about 200 degrees Celsius. And I just glued a ton of small heat sinks on the back of the metal shielding covering the RAM on my PS4 Pro model, which is the first generation, the 7000 model. I have a 7016B. And when I did that, it took a lot longer for this fan to ramp up and get really loud. And then I was like, oh, man, if they still get so hot, maybe I need to add some ventilation so the hot air can actually get out, because there's not a lot of vents on this fan. And so I did these two ventilation holes before adding the fan, and it added maybe another 10-15 minutes before the fan started to get loud. Then I added this 80mm fan. I just bought a regular Arctic Cooling 80mm fan, and I soldered a 12-volt USB to it on the blue and red wire, and just plugged it in on the back of the console, so it's nice and clean. The wire runs inside of the machine on the back side, and now it shuts up. It's super quiet. It's no louder than a PS5. In fact, it's just as quiet as my PS5 now. And just listen to this. This is all the noise it's ever gonna make. It has been running GT Sport now for 8.5 hours. At the moment, it's running 24 hours a day. And I'm just doing it with the controller and a rubber band. I'm just getting the platinum in GT Sport before GT7 comes out, and all I need is getting level 50, and I'm not gonna grind level 50 against the AI because that's super boring. So yeah, anyways, it's been doing this now for 6 days, and it doesn't give a rat's ass. This is as loud as it gets. Incredible. So if you want to mod your PS4 Pro so it becomes quiet, it's a good idea to cut some kind of hole so the main fan can drag in more air. That's obviously a good thing, but the most important thing are the memory on the backside. And trust me, you'll need more heat sinks than then you think. The memory get really hot. It's like 95 degrees stuck. And it takes quite a bit of heat sink and a good deal of airflow to get that down to, if I put a thermostat on my heat sinks now, they're about 55, 60. So I took it a good notch down. But anyways, that's my tip. Concentrate a lot more on cooling the memory than the front. And also a last thing, buying some really good thermal pads for your memory that won't melt or be destroyed by high temperatures is a very good idea. I bought thermal grizzly pads for mine, and I also did for my PS5, and they're awesome. I installed the first set of thermal grizzly pads in my PS4 Pro 3 years ago, and when I swapped them for new ones half a year ago-ish, they were still looking fresh. So yeah, that's about it. Good luck with your mods if you're sick of a PS4 Pro or just a regular PS4 sounding like a vacuum cleaner. Good luck and have fun.